welcome to What's That Origin, and today we're going to be talking about Scarlet Witch from, well, the MCU technically. So Wanda, and this is all, so in celebration of WandaVision, we'll be discussing Wanda's origin story. And so in the MCU, we first meet Wanda in Avengers Age of Ultron, and there is a spoiler alert in effect. We first meet her in the Age of Ultron, and she is a resident of Sokovia along with her twin brother Quicksilver. And you see that she's got these powers of telekinesis, and her brother has super speed. And the way they say this in the movie is how they got their powers was through experimentation, and that's how they got their powers. And I'm still mad at Disney for this, but they killed Quicksilver so untimely. I was so upset. But Wanda carries on, and she becomes a very important character in the MCU. She plays a huge role in trying to defeat Thanos, and she falls in love with Vision, and she becomes really one of the most overpowered superheroes of the MCU. The exception of Captain Marvel, of course, because Captain Marvel is pretty much invincible. So Wanda from the MCU and Wanda from the comic books, they are the same Wanda, but they're not the same Wanda. So Scarlet Witch in the comic books, I dare say, is more powerful than the Scarlet Witch that we see in the Avengers series. She can alter reality, and if you've ever seen if you're from my day and age, if I'm dating myself, there used to be an anime series on called X-Men Evolutions, and like they're all in high school, and it wasn't like completely dedicated to the comic books, but it was a pretty good insight of the connections between each character and personalities. And she was definitely a memorable character in that. But anyways, so in the comic book series, Wanda made her debut in the X-Men issue number 4. And that's the other thing I've been irritated with, along with most people that have been fans of both X-Men and the Avengers series, is that they took 2 X-Men and they made them no longer X-Men, or no longer mutants, I should say. And not only that, but they kind of wasted a character. They wasted a complete character with Quicksilver, and I'm still very upset about it. In the comic book series, she's introduced along with her brother Quicksilver, and their parentage, unlike in the MCU series, it's been altered a few times. They start off in the way beginning as the children of superheroes Wizard and Miss America. But then for a few decades, and this is the storyline I was always used to, was that they were the children of Magneto, who is from the X-Men series and is best friends and rival with Professor X. And as far as I knew, that was the actual origin story, and that's how it was in the comic book series for many, many years, until the 2010s, where they got completely rewritten to fit the MCU series. She started off as a mutant, which means that she was born with her powers, and it wasn't as an experiment. She was born with these powers, and she was definitely one of the more powerful mutants in the entire comic book series. And just to where we're clear, that the X-Men universe and the MCU are both in the same universe, comic book wise. It is a crossover series. I do look forward to seeing if maybe Disney, now that they have the Fox rights, will do something along the lines of putting X-Men and the Avengers actually together. So Scarlet Witch came out in March 1964. So this year she will be 57 years old. And she is the creation of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. She comes into the series, in the comic book series, originally, she starts off as a villain and is one of the members of the Brotherhood of Mutants. And later on, when you find out more about her parentage, about her being Magneto's daughter, she's part of the House of M. And basically Magneto's running a terrorist organization. But yes, but even in the comic book series, she does still fall in love and marry Vision, and they have 2 children, 2 sons. As the comic book series progressed, like I said, her parentage changed, along with Pietro, her brother, to where, and eventually in the 2010s, she was being used for the crossovers for the Avengers, and her parentage changed, and in the comic book series, she finds out that Magneto's not really her father, but Pietro's still her brother, and it's just a whole thing. I'm still very disappointed in it personally, just because I was a child who had the storyline one way, but what are you gonna do? So Wanda, in the original series, not only was she a really powerful mutant, she was also called a sorceress. She was cursed or gifted with powers, very, like I said, she's very powerful, more powerful than her MCU counterpart. So in the Avengers series, the comic books, Wanda and Quicksilver would both play bigger roles than what they have in the MCU. And there would also be appearances by Magneto, who was kidnapped at one point, and Wanda would also be kidnapped at another point. And during the comic book series, Wanda would meet and fall in love and marry Vision, like I said before, and have 2 children with him. I mean, really, to go into the entire comic book series would take a lengthy amount of time, but I mostly just wanted to bring up on how her character is similar and yet different from the MCU and the comic book series counterparts. And the powers are very similar, but they are different, and the origin stories are just always all over the place. Of course, in the movie, she is, her parents are killed in Sokovia, and then her and her brother, looking for revenge, volunteer for experimentations in order to avenge their parents. And of course, Quicksilver dies. And the role that she plays in both universes are still pretty crucial to each other. So I guess in the end, I'm more surprised on how alike they are than what I had thought originally. I know that I personally would like to see Quicksilver come back. I do know that newer X-Men movies have been put out. I haven't watched them all yet because it started getting confusing after Days of Futures Past, because then it's like everything that was supposed to happen never happened. It just got confusing. So I would like to see a consecutive storyline. And now that Disney owns Fox Entertainment and Marvel, I'm really hoping that they kind of put things right and or the way that they used to be, and see where they go from there. But yeah, if anyone has ever seen the old animated series or have read the comic books, let me know down below what you think of the differences or the similarities between the two characters are. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Bye!